Chapter 303 Liquor, Medium, Icebreaker, Dalu sighed. Yes, count me unlucky. When I was young, my father was the one who taught me soul engineering skills. In my entire lineage, there's always only been one son in every generation. We are like a sect, but we don't have the depth of a sect. My father always believed that he could teach me with everything that he had. Thus he didn't send me to a basic soul engineering academy. However, he passed away for some unknown reason when I was 14, and I had just become a class 3 soul engineer. When we found him, even his internal organs had disappeared. He had died tragically. My father was also very protective of his wealth. He was very worried no matter where he kept his valuables, and usually kept them with him in his storage type soul tool. Once he died, my family went bankrupt. My mother passed away early. We originally had a few servants, but they left since I couldn't pay them. Very soon, I became an orphan that lived by myself. Dalu sounded very calm. However, the expression on his face revealed that his heart was already dead. After that, I had to give up on my cultivation in order to make a living for myself. I found some chores in the city. Originally, I was a soul engineer, and finding a job wasn't very difficult. However, I would be cursed every time I suggested that my employer offer me some rare metals for my cultivation. As I was helpless, I could only do some chores that were beyond what I could handle. I earned some money to sustain myself. At the same time, I cultivated using my father's manual. After more than a decade, I managed to reach the level of a class 5 soul engineer. However, I'm broke now. At my level, I can't experiment without sufficient rare metals, and I can't produce better soul tools either. Huo was confused after he heard Dalu's recounting of events. It was his first time hearing a class 5 soul engineer being restricted by poverty. Even though he had other ideas in mind, he couldn't help but ask, Brother Gao, didn't your soul tools become finished products? With your abilities, you should be able to sell your finished soul tools for decent prices even if the materials are slightly inferior. They should then be enough to fund your cultivation. Since when did soul engineers like money? Dalu looked a little embarrassed. Honestly speaking, I'm not afraid that you'll mock me. My entire family has a bad habit. We are stingy. I inherited my father's stinginess. I can't bear to sell the soul tools that I've created. They are the products of my hard work. He coughed twice as he finished. Huo's lips moved a little. He was a little empathetic after hearing Dalu's tragic life story. However, he realized that there wasn't any tragic story that had no reason in this world after hearing about Dalu's stinginess. Dalu's poverty was caused by himself. What a stingy soul engineer. After pausing for a moment, Huo asked, what do you plan to do from now on? Dalu sighed and said, what else do you want me to do? I'm a class 5 soul engineer now. I'm different from before. Maybe I'll find a sect and see if I can get some rare metals to practice with. Brother, I believe you're at least a class 5 soul engineer judging from your abilities to create soul tools. Your technique is also quite conventional and orthodox. You should be from Sect. Why not introduce me to your sect? I've no other requests. I just need sufficient materials. If I get to keep all my soul tools, I'm willing to even sell my life to the sect. Huo looked at him deeply and said to Wang Donga, Xia Dong, tell the waiter that we don't need the liquor anymore. Let's go. Yes. Wang Donga acknowledged his words and tried to hold in her laughter as she walked away. She knew that Huo was about to con someone again. However, Dalu didn't look very pitiful. He was actually very scheming. No, don't go. Brother, we haven't had a drink yet. Even if they might blacklist you, they won't serve you bad liquor, considering your wealth. Dalu hurriedly said. At this point, the waiter had entered and there was a bottle of pink liquor on a tray in his hand. There were also 3 liquor glasses and a bucket of ice. Sir, your liquor is here. Do you want me to open it for you? The waiter asked Huo. Huo turned to look at Dalu. Dalu said, open. Of course you should open it. Hurry up. As he spoke, he was already swallowing visibly. Huo smiled and said, Brother Gao, liquor will make our hands numb. Overdrinking might even cause them to tremble and affect our state. You must watch out. Dalu was completely unbothered. No worries. We can do it occasionally. The waiter opened the bottle without any hesitation. He added 3 ice cubes to each glass before pouring the liquor into each glass. After that, he respectfully left. Dalu lifted the glass in front of him and took a sip. His face became rapturously intoxicated. Good liquor. This is good liquor. I've not had such great rose liquor in some time. It's delicious. Brother, quickly take a sip. As he spoke, he quickly filled his glass again. Huo lifted his glass and gently took a sip. The liquor was indeed quite good. A light rose scent entered his throat along with the liquor itself. The scent seemed to evaporate naturally. Very quickly, it diffused through his body. A warm aura also slowly spread out and made him feel extremely comfortable. What left Huo stunned was that the chill in his body from the origin energy of ultimate ice also dropped after he took a sip of the drink. Was the alcohol able to help him absorb the origin energy of his ultimate ice? With this thought, he completely downed the glass of liquor. Huo was completely stunned at the result. The warmth from the alcohol suddenly increased greatly. He felt the flow of his blood getting stronger and stronger. The warmth followed his passageways and rushed towards his left arm and lower limbs. Although it was still inferior compared to the origin energy of ultimate ice, this gush of warmth neutralized some of the origin energy. It also fused with his blood and soul power. This works. Huo didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this moment. Dalu was watching Huo as he sipped on his liquor. When he realized Huo's expression was changing very weirdly, he was shocked. Although this rose liquor wasn't cheap, he didn't have to feel so much pain buying it. Brother Tang, are you okay? Dalu asked carefully. Huo shook his head. He had originally wanted to draw Dalu into the Tang Sect, but he realized that Dalu was actually very cunning, even though he seemed very honest. In addition, he was now much less interested in him as he faced this unexpected surprise. Donga, call the waiter over. As he was agitated, Huo even forgot that he wasn't supposed to refer to her that way. Although Wang Donga didn't know why he was suddenly so excited, she still quickly called the waiter over. Sir, what instructions do you have? The waiter asked respectfully. Huo said, go get me every type of liquor you have here. What? Every type? Sir, we have more than 100 types of liquor, even though our establishment isn't that large. We already have 40 different types of wine, and, okay, go quickly then. As he spoke, Huo threw his entire bag of money over. The waiter was shocked, but a flash of greed crossed his face as he received the bag of cash. He followed with, yes, I'll go now. Please wait for me. More than 100 types of liquor. How much would that cost? Not only was Dalu astonished, even Wang Donga didn't understand what Huo was doing. Huo poured himself another glass of the rose liquor. Indeed so. Huo was evidently extremely excited. After that, he twisted his head to look at Dalu. Brother Gao, you can leave first if you have nothing going on. I suddenly remembered I have something important to deal with. Your important thing is drinking, am I right? Brother, how can you be without a buddy when you are drinking? I can't do anything else, but I can be a top-notch drinking buddy. Dalu couldn't give up this opportunity to taste so many delicious liquors. He quickly presented himself to Huo. Huo shook his head and replied, did you not hear that I only requested a glass of every type of liquor for myself? I didn't get any for you. Dalu turned pale. There were more than 100 types of liquor. How would it feel to drink and compare them? He had never tried it before. It should feel very magical. However, he was being chased away. Dalu only had 2 hobbies. One was to become a strong soul engineer. The other was to drink. Brother, I take back what I said earlier. Let's see if this works. I can join your sect. As long as you provide me materials. The soul tools that I create will belong to the sect. However, please give me at least some money to buy wine. It's best if I can even find a wife. I'll follow you if you agree to this. Huo was stunned. He hadn't expected Dalu to misunderstand his actions. He had actually lowered his own asking price of his own accord. What was going on? He hadn't expected Dalu to treat him as a confidant. It was easy to find friends, but not drinking buddies. Dalu was completely convinced after seeing Huo ask for more than 100 types of liquor in one shot. He was imagining the amount of liquor he could drink every day if he followed Huo. Why would he need soul tools then? Alright, that's great. I'll give you a 50% cut for every soul tool you create. We'll come up with the materials. You just need to create the soul tools. In addition, I think you've also witnessed my special method of creating soul tools. You'll be able to learn such a method once you join our sect. Dalu's eyes brightened, and he replied, Of course. Brother Tang, the liquor. Huo waved his hand generously and said, Little Dong, get the waiter to add one more complete set. Dalu licked his chapped lips and gave him a thumbs up. Awesome. Very soon, the table was filled with rows of liquor glasses. Brother Tang, let's drink. Cheers. Dalu, let's toast once more. Oh, this liquor isn't bad. It's strong enough. Great. Fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I've never enjoyed liquor like this. Brother Tang, did you notice that the liquors made from wheat are quite light, while those made from grapes contain the lightness of grapes even though they are hard liquors? I feel very pleasant drinking them. Oh, this liquor has the taste of plums. It even tastes a little smoked. It's quite special. Cheers. Let's go. Shit. Wang Donga was stunned as she watched from the side. These two drunkards didn't stop at all. They kept on downing glass after glass of liquor. It was her first time seeing Hua Yua drinking like this, so she was shocked. At the start, Wang Donga thought Hua Yua was doing this to tempt Dalu. Dalu was basically bought over by the liquor. However, Wang Donga noticed something was wrong. Dalu had already been swindled. Why did Yua have to continue drinking with him? In a short span of time, both of them had already drank more than 30 glasses of liquor. There was another person who was even more shocked than Wang Donga, the waiter who had delivered the liquor. There were more than 100 types of liquor. Since Hua Yua had ordered 2 complete sets of liquor, there were more than 200 glasses of liquor. The table couldn't fit all the glasses. Once the glasses were empty, they were immediately replaced by more glasses of different liquors. At the start, the waiter thought Hua Yua was trying to put on airs, and he would at most taste a few types of liquor. However, he saw the two of them downing more than 30 glasses on their own as time passed. More than half of them were hard liquors. If they were ordinary people, they would have been completely drunk by now. However, the two of them seemed like nothing had happened. Even though every glass of liquor had been diluted by ice cubes, they must have consumed more than a liter of hard liquor each after 30 glasses. Ooh. Master, stop drinking. Wang Donga almost addressed him incorrectly in her anxiety. She lifted her hand to grab the liquor glass from Hua Yua's hand. Hua Yua deftly dodged and avoided her hand. He shot a look at her. As he thought of something, he used his spiritual detection to tell her what he was thinking. Wang Donga's body stiffened up. After that, her eyes revealed an indescribable look of ecstasy. Hua Yua gently nodded. That's great. Continue. You're in a wheelchair anyway. I can push you back anytime. Why was Hua Yua drinking so much? He wanted to test whether each type of liquor had an effect on fusing his origin energy of ultimate ice, or if it was only just the rose liquor. If every type of liquor could do the same thing, it must mean that liquor was very effective for him. His conclusion was that liquor was very effective. However, the effects didn't depend on the value of the liquor, but its strength. The stronger the liquor, the better it was. Every glass of hard liquor was like a catalyst. The origin energy in his body was increasingly being digested by Hua Yua's soul power. For someone who had 3 immovable limbs, this was like a delicacy. Furthermore, Hua Yua remained clear-headed, as all the alcohol was being used to fuse with his origin energy. He was also getting more and more excited. He could easily last for 300 glasses without getting drunk. Hua Yua was amused that Dalu's tolerance level was actually very impressive. He didn't feel any soul power undulations from his body. Dalu was just drinking normally. His eyes brightened the more he drank. Just like Hua Yua, he was getting more and more clear-headed as he drank. Great liquor. This is really great liquor. I haven't felt so happy in a long time. No, I've never felt so happy before. Today, I finally understand what it means when people say 1,000 glasses of liquor is too little when drinking with a confidant. Brother Tang, I'm very grateful to have met you. After drinking his 50th glass, Dalu was finally getting a little dizzy. However, the excitement in his eyes only grew. Brother Tang, I'll follow you in the future. I can get liquor when I'm with you. I don't even want the percentage cut. I'm fine with just liquor. What do you think? Hua Yua chortled and replied, this isn't much for me. In fact, I even know a sommelier. He's a true fanatic for delicious liquor. If you meet him, you'll really know what it is to have a drinking buddy. Dalu was stunned. Is that so? Is there actually someone who can drink better than you? Hua Yua answered, I don't know how much he can drink, but I've never seen him without his liquor ever since I met him. You can find him whenever you want to try. I'm sure he'll be happy. Don't worry. This liquor god lives very close to my sect. All right. Drink. Come on. Brother Tang, let's drink. I'll follow you and the liquor god in the future. Dalu was finally getting drunk. Such a drunkard would never be willing to act his soul power to neutralize the alcohol in his body. He couldn't bear to. It was important to bear in mind that Dalu was a very stingy person. Brother Tang, didn't you want to know the special characteristic of my soul tool? Since we are going to be in the same sect, I think it's fine to tell you. The soul tool that I carry around me has a special characteristic called blood coagulating. It's an added component to my blood coagulating carving knife. It's impressive, isn't it? It's fine even if I tell you. That's because only a descendant of my blood lineage can use this carving knife. I need to use my fresh blood to use this knife every time. Otherwise, it would have been stolen by many people already. Fortunately, the carving knife can only be used by a descendant of my family. Although its ranking is a little low because of my weak cultivation, it's the only valuable that my father left me. If anyone else could use it, my hemagglutination carving knife might even make it to the top 30 carving knives. Hua Yua was silently shocked after hearing Dalu's words. It was a carving knife equal to one of the top 30 top-notch carving knives. No wonder it was so strong. Even the shockwaves generated by the shock cannon were so strong because of the meticulous carvings made by this knife. After 3 more glasses, Dalu couldn't take it anymore and collapsed onto the table. Hua Yua drank 2 more glasses on his own before smiling slightly. He turned to Wang Donga and said, my dear, I need to pee. Wang Donga was speechless. Can't you use it for your cultivation? Hua Yua laughed bitterly. I used alcohol, not water. You are in a guy's attire anyway. What are you scared of? Send me to the toilet. Otherwise, I'm going to pee my pants. Wang Donga's face turned red. Although she had seen Hua Yua's body before, she had never done anything like this before. She started stammering. Why don't we go home? And you can. Hua Yua replied, I can't hold it in anymore. Aren't you afraid that I'll look at someone else? My eyes will be dirtied. Wang Donga finally found an excuse. That's true. You can send me to the door. I can go in and settle everything myself. Hua Yua changed his words after teasing her. Over these past few days, he had felt tortured as Wang Donga regained her sense of self. A lot of his extra welfare had ceased to exist. Since he could only move his right hand, he was helpless against her. After returning from the washroom, Hua Yua continued to drink. The waiter thought that they were going to stop, seeing that Dalu had already passed out. However, Hua Yua was still drinking. He stopped drinking the cheap liquors and started to drink the high-end liquors. He only called the waiter in after he had finished all the hard liquor. Sir, what instructions do you have? The waiter looked in Hua Yua's eyes and felt like he had seen a 10,000-year-old beast. This young man was unbelievable. Hua Yua leisurely said, you've seen my tolerance level. All these liquors can't satisfy me. Is there anything even stronger? This. The waiter suddenly thought of something, and his eyes brightened. He said, we still have some distillate here. Do you want some? Distillate? What's that? Hua Yua was completely clueless about liquors. The waiter replied softly, hard liquors are distilled beverages. Apart from some special cases, most hard liquors are purified distillates that have been blended and mixed with different flavors. After that, they're sold to the general public. This is a secret. I'm only telling you because you have a lot of gold soul coins. Hua Yua wasn't moved as he asked, how strong is the distillate? The waiter chuckled and replied, it's twice as strong as the strongest liquor that you've drank so far. Hua Yua's heart twitched a little, and thought to himself, are you telling me that the liquors here have been diluted with water and other stuff? Give me some to try first. Alright, wait a minute. However, the price of the distillate. Hua Yua revealed a slightly furious expression. Since when is money a problem? Tell your boss, as long as the stuff is good, I want it long term. As long as you have it, I'll take everything. In my manor, I have an underground wine cellar that's 10,000 square meters. What? A 10,000 square meter wine cellar? It's unheard of. How rich must you be? This is the break boss needs to get rich. When the waiter returned, he brought along a shrewd-looking elder who seemed around 60 years old. Distillate was almost pure alcohol. It could easily be used to light a fire. However, it was extremely good for Hua Yua, since it contained no impurities. He immediately made a high bid for all the distillate in the bar, and even pre-ordered another batch. They left Dalu in the bar. Hua Yua left him a note to set their next meeting. The bar would naturally take good care of him, since he was a friend of their newfound rich client. Hua Yua had already controlled himself. He didn't steal Dalu's carving knife. Huo Yuao and Wang Donga returned to the Mingyue Hotel with more than 100 kilos of distillate, but he didn't drink it right away. After he returned, he immediately entered a cultivation state as he laid down flat. He activated all his soul power and cultivated the impurities and remaining alcohol within the liquor. The Continental Elite Youth Soul Master Tournament had reached the round-robin stage, and the Tang Sect finally caught a breather after facing 2 consecutive tough opponents. They defeated the next 4 opponents they faced easily. With their immense abilities, they managed to make their way to the top of their group after winning 6 out of 6 matches. They had 1 foot in the quarterfinal. Besides the Tang Sect, there was another team in their group that won all their matches. Shrek's team. In the first 5 matches of this round-robin stage, they had snatched easy victories. Under Wang Qiu's leadership, and with their extraordinary abilities, they managed to overcome the Clijade Sect, too. It was also on that same day that the team and vice-team leaders, Kane and Shui Bing, were unfrozen. However, the Tang Sect didn't know that Kane disappeared after the Clijade Sect was eliminated from the tournament. The Tang Sect didn't depart the venue after they easily won their 6th match. They sat in the VIP resting area, all of them with serious expressions on their faces. The next match was the clash of the day. The most established 2 teams in the history of the tournament were about to fight against one another. On one side was the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy, who had won 4 out of their first 5 matches under Xiao Chen and Meng Chen's leadership. On the other side was Shrek, led by Wang Qiu. For both parties, this fight wasn't just about the qualifications for the next round. It was a life and death battle, a battle of glory. The enmity between both academies was simply too deep. In this round-robin stage, the Sun Moon team had already lost to the Tang Sect. If they lost again, Shrek would advance with the Tang Sect into the quarterfinals. If they won, the Tang Sect and Shrek Academy would face off in the next match. The Tang Sect and the Sun Moon team would advance if the Tang Sect won. If the Tang Sect lost, all 3 teams would be tied on the number of wins, and points would be used to calculate which 2 teams would advance. While the Tang Sect had maintained a 100% record so far, their points weren't very high because they kept on preparing themselves for the team fights. The point difference between Shrek's team and the Sun Moon team was almost negligible, and the gap might be widened in this match. The Sun Moon team had no other way out. They had to win this match. If they won, they could ensure their spot in the quarterfinals as long as they achieved a huge victory in the last match. The Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy wanted the Tang Sect and Shrek's team to fight one another for the other spot. It was the same situation for Shrek Academy. As long as they defeated the Sun Moon team, they would definitely qualify with 6 victories in the bag. Whether they were going to be the winner or runners-up of their group would depend on their last match with the Tang Sect. Wang Qiu slowly stood up. She didn't walk towards the waiting area. Instead, she turned around and looked at her teammates. Do all of you remember what I mentioned yesterday? She asked. Yes. All of Shrek's team members acknowledged her words. They sounded very excited, and the rest of the teams in the waiting area were drawn to them. Not only were the spectators monitoring this match, even the rest of the teams were watching this match very closely. Shrek's reputation was too well established. The reputations of both academies meant that this face-off between both teams was bound to be an extremely intense one. Tai Huobin was closest to Wang Qiu. Right now, his eyes were burning as he looked at her. It was as if she were his idol. His enthusiasm was bordering on fanaticism. It wasn't just him. Everyone from Shrek recalled what Wang Qiu had said yesterday. Tomorrow, we are going to face the Sun Moon team. Do all of you know why the Tang Sect gave up against them in the earlier round, but fought them in the first match of the round-robin stage? Let me tell you. It's because the Tang Sect was afraid that we would lose. They did their best to weaken the Sun Moon team and give us a greater chance. Tell me, do we need them to create this fighting chance for us? We came here for Shrek's glory. If not for the fact that Shrek's 7 monsters are representing the Tang Sect, we would only be substitutes. During the last tournament, I wasn't even at Shrek Academy yet, but I heard of their performance. They were only substitutes then. What happened? They brought back the title. Let me ask all of you. Do all of you have the heart of a champion? We are members of Shrek, the glory of Shrek, and the radiance of Shrek. Our advancement will not arise because of anyone's help, but our own abilities. Tomorrow, I'll tear the skin off whoever dares to look down on us. Do all of you understand? We are not only going to show the Sun Moon team why we are strong, we are also going to show the Tang Sect that they can't underestimate us. Let's show them that we are champion material. We'll win tomorrow's fight. Shrek will win. Wang Qiu's wild words were still ringing in the ears of every member of Shrek's team. Her voice, which inspired their passion and excitement, raised their fighting spirits to unprecedented levels. So what if it was the Sun Moon Soul Engineering Academy? So what if it was the Tang Sect? They were representing Shrek Academy, a team that had never lost this tournament before. They were fighting for Shrek's glory. Right now, they could finally chant this slogan in front of everyone. Every time they thought of this, their auras would turn ferocious, and their fighting spirits were fired to the limit. Wang Qiu saw the fire in everyone's eyes and nodded. She said evenly, "Follow me." After she finished speaking, she turned around and faced the stage. As she turned, her gaze met Huo Yuao's. As their gazes met, Huo Yuao saw the look of perseverance in her eyes as she led Shrek's team towards the stage. What left everyone from the Tang Sect shocked was that Shrek's team didn't send out their standard 7 members to compete. They switched their personnel in such a crucial match. Wang Qiu was in front, while Dai Huobin, Douluo, Ning Tian, and Cao Jingxuan followed behind. The last 2 were Qi Wanyu and Wu Feng. They were Lan Susu and Lan Luoluo. In terms of individual abilities, Lan Susu and Lan Luoluo were only some of the best in the outer courtyard of the academy. They only had 4 rings, and were only sole ancestors. They hadn't made it into the inner courtyard yet, but Wang Qiu had chosen the 2 of them to compete in such an important match, and left out Wu Feng and Qi Wanyu, who were both in the inner courtyard. Huo Yuao was more shocked that Wu Feng didn't pose any objections, even though she was such a proud character. He couldn't see any dissatisfaction from her. Impressive, Wang Qiu. Huo Yuao complimented her in his heart. He had to admit that Wang Qiu's leadership skills were very strong. She was able to easily handle her bunch of tough and arrogant characters. He couldn't claim that he was at her level. On the other side, everyone from the Sun Moon team also entered the waiting area. Xiao Chen and Meng Chen looked very serious. To the 2 of them, this was also a life and death battle. Their clash against the Tang Sect had left them depleted, and they now had no choice but to use their substitutes. Even though Xiao Chen and Meng Chen were very strong, the overall ability of the Sun Moon team had dropped. Very soon, both parties entered their respective waiting areas. The entire place also went silent. Shu Tianran had already arrived on the main stage. He was very excited for today's fight, too. Yesterday, he had personally gone to visit the Sun Moon team and promised them heavy rewards if they won this match. If they could win this match, Shu Tianran promised them the title. In the quarterfinals, they wouldn't have to face the Tang Sect. That was because the Tang Sect could only face them in the final, and the Tang Sect's next opponents included the Holy Ghost Sect. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.